Hey guys, we're at the San Miguel Mission today, and we're going to go in and explore this beautiful place that the indigenous people created with their bare hands and knowledge of building. Let's go. Got a lot of different rocks here that the people would use. A model of the way the indigenous would live in this area before they built a church. A lot of their pottery and the stones where they would crush different things like their weeds and flowers and edibles. How they used to crush the grapes. This is a full model of where we're at now. And this is what it looks like if you would send a drone up. This is what it would look like today. Matter of fact, these places are actually lived in today. All these places and all the way around, the people that take care of the church still lives there today. When I go out there, I'll show you. None of this is lived in. It's only this section and some of this section that's lived in. And of course we have the church, and I'm going to take you there. And these are the shells, the actual shells that they would crush and make their colors. And this is how they would paint, whether it be indoors or themselves. This is how they would match the colors to paint. Here is how they made candles. They had the fire going underneath, the wax would be boiling, and they would dip the wicks in there and continue to dip and dip and dip and dip until it came out to a candle. This big beast of a machine is where and how they would make their blankets. I mean, it's pretty sophisticated back in the day, but yet really simple to use and highly, highly well done as far as the way they did the blankets. And this was indeed the best way to do the blankets. And these are their artificial horses to put their saddles on. They would literally put their saddles here when they weren't using them. Very old. Saddles are super, super old. These are what you would see up on the roofs. These would protect their roofs from leaking water. So these are their shingles back in the day. This right here is a huge blow fan that they would use to create the smoke and the heat in their ovens. And this right here, my friends, is the steps that goes all the way up into the grape crusher. This is where they made the wine. And they would get up in there and literally use their feet to crush the grapes. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay, so you remember I told you how the people lived in this area here, and that's why it's blocked off, because they're actually still lived in. Pretty neat. This is the part of the building that I told you that nobody lives in, except they're around the corner. You can't go that way either because I think, yeah, these are, I heard some of these are still lived in. And this right here was the entrance for the horses. So the horses and the buggies would come through here. And as you can see, they've got everything that they needed for to take care of the horses, to dress the horses, to get them ready to put on the buggies. And this is the kitchen where the ladies and the kids, or the ladies, would come in here and cook. This is where they would prepare the meals and, yeah, shelves to keep all their stuff on, pots, pans, utensils, and little table to help them do the flour, the doughs, and all that stuff over there. Pretty neat. And then back over here, we have the oven. And now this oven, they baked a lot of bread in this oven and pizzas or whatever they were baking. So yeah, this is pretty neat. And check out this door. This is the original wood door. And here we have the eating quarters. In here, people would come in here, and when it was time to eat, they would just call all their family in and whoever lived in this section, and they would eat, and they would have a wonderful dinner with the entire family. Everyone sat at these tables, children, husband, wife, and they ate fish and breads and artichokes back over there in the corner. Different fruits and vegetables. Pretty neat. And when we pan over here, here's where they would keep all their dishes. Forks, spoons, knives, I guess, if they had them. Utensils, Tupperware. Well, they didn't have Tupperware back in, but their plates and cups and bowls. And if you notice, there's candles everywhere. And that's because there was no lighting in this place at all. No lights. There is now due to modern technology, but back then, everything had candles, even on the table, candles. Because without candles, you couldn't see anything at all. And right over here, we have another whatever it is. I don't know what you call these things. But yeah, they have a whole bunch of different things. And if you guys can just see that, maybe pause it and read it. Yeah, you get a good bit of information. Oh, there's another candle. And this, well, they have this set up as a part of where the man of the house would come in and write and do what he needs to do and, take care of his family. And the only way to get messages out back in those days is paper and pen. As you can see, we got the feather pen with the ink and candles on both sides of the table and scripture everywhere. Got to have scripture. Very religious people here. And in the corner, we have the monk dressed in the monk outfit who is looking mighty good. And on this side of the room, they got the modern beds as they used back then. I mean, man, I'll tell you what, folks, that bed doesn't look comfortable at all. I mean, look at the cracks in the wall. How would you like to sleep with all them cracks in the wall? And the doorway here, something to be scared about, huh? But anyway, they got the cross on the wall. And they got I guess that thing there is like where you would put like clothes and stuff like that. And then they got another place over here, I guess, where he would come in and write, or who would, I don't know. And then we got a fireplace here. You got to stay warm during those winter nights. And we're starting off here, and we're just going to go around and look at everything that they have here. Photo. I would assume that would be the Virgin Mary. And we got some old pottery pots. Look like copper pots there. Like I said, most of the doors here are original to the building. And here's, I guess, how they made their music. And then we have some stuff that the priests and stuff would wear, and the chairs that they would sit in. Pretty neat stuff. Oh, I love this. Look at the sword of one of the angels with the wings, bringing in on his sword. And underneath him, if you look carefully, you can see one of the devils, the fallen angels. I guess that's Michael slashing one of the fallen angels, telling him, "Hey, this is my area, not yours. Get out of here." And then, of course, here we have some more. This stuff is very, very old. I mean, very old. Wow, look at this fireplace. Man, they don't build fireplaces like that anymore. Those old chairs. Wow, this place is just amazing. Now, I'm going to go down to the floor because if you look, it's all got bricks. Now, these are modern bricks. I don't think, maybe these bricks are some bricks back in the day, but I'm pretty sure that this whole place at one point of time was just, bare, just the dirt underneath. And I think later in the 19th century, they came in and put all these bricks down here so they can have some bricks instead of the old dusty floors. Okay, guys, let's head on to the next part of our thing that we're doing here. And we got to head back out the same way we came in. And we're going to head out and go to the church. Now, we're walking up this path right here to go to the main cemetery church. But I think this path takes us into the cemetery where everyone that established here in this building had perished and now is in over here at the cemetery. Okay, I just wanted to say they have this big waterfall here. But honestly, I don't think, maybe it is, but I don't think this is true to the actual building. I think they came in a couple of centuries later and put this in just to make it look old. And it looks really good. I mean, they did a good job, don't you think? And as we continue, we just came from down there. We walked down back that way and all the way around. And we came out here. And we're going to continue with the tour. Now, as we enter the church, this church is possibly over 250 years old. And if you want to just look at the thickness of the doorway, guys, man, that's at least 3 feet of solid rock. These walls are just at least 3 feet of solid rock. These churches are built quite nicely and very, very thick. And they had to do that because back then they didn't have all the stuff that we had today. So to keep it insulated, they would have to keep the walls really thick to keep the heat out and the cold out and keep it about the right temperature in here, no matter what time of the season it was. And I believe they established that. Now, if you look at the painting on the walls, back there in the beginning, remember those little shells I showed you with all the different colors in it? That's how they would get the colors on these walls. And the little flower things that you see up here on the walls, look at that, little flowers, whatever they are. And if you look down at the bottom, you have your blues. It goes into reds and greens and dark greens and blacks. I mean, could you imagine the colors? How beautiful it was when this place was first built and these colors were all vibrant and fresh. Let's continue. Look at those windows up there. Same amount of thickness. Really, really thick. Okay, guys, see that right there? The reason that is up there with that little shell on top, like the little roof, is back in the day, we didn't have electricity, we didn't have microphones. So what the preacher would have to do, the father would go up these stairs, stand in there, and do his reading when this place was packed with people. It's the only way that he can get the people way back there to understand what he was saying, because, of course, when you're up that high and your voice echoes, it'll echo through this entire building, and everyone, as long as they're quiet, they would be able to hear what the preacher is trying to tell them. And look at this, just beautiful architecture, amazing architecture. But they're having a little prayer going on, so we don't want to them to get upset and us to, get in the way of their prayers. So we're gonna just go out. Okay, guys, and these are the steps to where all the highest of the highest people in their congregation would go up as they have the preachings going on, and the church would be filled. And look at this. I guess this is their confession booth, where people would come and go into these booths and confess to this little hole right here. The father would be on one side, and the people would be on this side, telling the father that about their sins, and they're here to confess, and so their sins would be forgiven. Now, if you guys ever want to come to San Miguel Mission, these are the hours. This is the front of the church of the mission. People would come in here and through the side door that we went in earlier. And now we're going to head into the graves. Now, entering into the graves where the residents of this church would perish and be brought here to this place, never to be seen again. So we have our first set of grave markers right here. I'm assuming these would be little ones. Here we have more. And as soon as I can get some dates, I will. And of course, more markers. Now, I don't see. Oh, yeah, we got a date, folks. Here, if you can see that, is from 1928 to 2011. So, yeah, I'm assuming that all these new ones right here are all new people. Yeah, we have another one here from 1988 to 2009. So these are all recently. And we got some in here. So they are still adding their people in here as they go under. These are also newbies. I have to show you this. Get a load of this old gate. Now, I don't know how original the wood is, but that, my friends, is very old. And this, my friends, is the bell that the people of the church, on the day that church starts, would go up here and ring this big bell. So everyone in this area that came to this church would know it's time to go to church. And then as I walk up here, you're going to see this narrow stairway that actually, let's go into this, that actually goes up. And it goes all the way up there. And that's where they would go up and ring that big, beautiful bell in the sky. Of course, now you can't get up in there because they got it like locked up like a prison, which I can understand because you can get hurt going up there, especially children. Guys, this one here, I don't know if you can see that very well. Let's see. 1890. Whoops, sorry about that. 1890. Wow, 1890. And of course, we do have a bunch of offerings, change. So, children, don't come over here and take the change when you see it, because that's rude and wrong. And we need to respect the people that are here lied to rest. And this is the last one I'm going to show you before I head around to the front of the church. But if you see here, 1840 to 1882. So here we are at the San Miguel Church. Huge place, beautiful place. People really loved this place and kept it up, and they ran it with an iron fist, a big iron fist. But they were friendly. They would help people in need of help. If they seen you walking past and you looked frail, thirsty, and hungry, they would invite you in and feed you and give you some water. And they would take care of you. And before they would send you on your way, they would make sure that you had plenty of water and plenty of bread. In here, we have a waterfall. Now, I don't believe that this waterfall is exactly to the church, but they came in probably in the early 1900s, maybe, and put this in for people like us to come and view it. Check out their wagons that the horses would pull. These wheels created by the masterful minds of blacksmithing and woodworkers. getting together, creating this beautiful transportation device. Now, if you look up here, all these cobblestones were not original to the building. These were put in much later. But all the wood that you see around here, all the doors, all original to this beautiful, once thriving village. Just gorgeous. No words can dictate what I feel being in front of this amazing church. This, my friends, is the way they would crush powder. I'm sorry, not powder. They would crush their wheat here. Wheat would be crushed here to make the breads. And I'm sure at one time, if you look right up over there, there's an old clock. That's how they kept the time. And I'm not sure if that's in the original place that it was when they built this place, but that is the original instrument that they used to tell time with the sun. And this, my friends, is the oven that they would use to bake the bread after they had crushed all that wheat up and turned it into flour. They would use this oven. Let's go and look inside. Oh, you can't see inside. It is so dark in there. Oh my goodness. But trust me, it's just dark and full of brick. It is really awesome to see how they would make their breads in the 1800s without electricity, without stove, with only fire, and again the knowledge to know how to do it. Brilliant. I hope you enjoyed my tour of the San Miguel Mission, and I hope to bring you more videos like this. Not all the time, but when I do travel, I'll send out more videos like this. Thanks for watching.